Okay, all right. Sorry, that one was, he says there's connection problems, so I couldn't go on. So, uh, let's start from the beginning. All right. This particular stream, I am talking about some, I'm gonna talk about uh, something about Chinese food. So, as you can see, as I said before, China is a really enormous country. We have 56 different kind of cultures, and all mixed up in the same country. We're living in different parts of China. So, as a result, the food in China they are actually different. There's many different kinds. It's actually countless. So I don't know everything about food, so I can only do what is good, like what I really know about. So starting talking food, then we have to talk a little bit about habits. All right. So I'm in Nantong in Jiangsu province. That means in our province, in our particular parts, I mean south part, basically south part of China, uh, what we usually eat is all this kind of fried food, or we fried, boil all this food and put them on the tables, different plates, and the main food we're having. Uh, Most of us in here is rice. So a typical Chinese deal dinner. Yeah, I think that works as well. A typical Chinese dinner including like four or maybe five different kind of plates and a bowl of soup. And of course, there's always soup, and each one who's attempting this dinner will have a bowl of rice, and we eat our food with chopsticks, which is very different from the Western world. Uh, oh, I see who's watching. Hello, my name is Azar. Free to ask any questions. Anyway, um, okay. So where were we? Yeah, just a little bit lost. We just eat food out of the bowl, and everyone just hold everything that they wanted. They would like to eat, and they just take them into their own bowl and take them. That's a decent, like Chinese dinner in here. Up to north, people will usually eat noodles as main foods. I mean, they prefer noodles. Me, I was born and raised in here in Jiangsu. I mean, I'm typically like I'm in the southern part of China, but I am actually a noodle guy. So I prefer eating noodles than rice. There's many reasons of it, but I can't fully explain. It's just a hobby. It came from natural, you know. Some people prefer spaghetti. Somebody just prefer steaks. That's how it is. That's basically the same. So, um, what we really do, how we cook our meal, we usually fry them, or boil them, or steam them. Basically that is. And there's very interesting little information for you. The word dumpling can represent three different kind of food in China. So, but of course nowadays people are calling the other two as different names, so they can just define themselves, define it. To me, I was we were learning English uh, since third grade. So uh, when we were learning dumplings, it can represent three different kind of food. Uh, Anything you want, you can find it on the list, and you can order them in China. You know, and many Chinese food you thought you might have tried in your own country possibly do not really exist in China. Like there's Zhouzhontang chicken. I don't know how to pronounce it. That was not the real Chinese food. It just somebody just developed it and sell it to the United States. In here, we don't really have that have that kind of food in here. Uh, but uh, and if you go to some place in China which have a wet weather, I mean, like you can feel that the air is pretty wet. That kind of places is also actually very cold, and the the cold silver feeling is, but also we were feeling, but they're more serious. Uh, it's the cold to the bone because it was in the air. The air is wet, so when you walk into it, your clothes doesn't really defend that kind of cold. So what they do is they eat spicy food in those kind of country, and the spicy food in the other part of China was not as popular as theirs as what they did in there. So there are differences in Chinese food. If you come in here trying to try different food, uh, then gonna took a very long while. Maybe it took years for you to taste the most kind of food in China, because each and every place have its own specialty, and the taste they gonna have. We all have different tastes actually, so it gonna took you for about years to really make to taste all the taste in China. But it's technically impossible because there are so many, it's countless. All right. So up to north, people eating noodles as main food, and I'm not saying that they're not frying their food or boiling their food. They're still doing those, but I think we are doing it more carefully or more specifically. Uh, when you go up north and you try their food, you're gonna find out that their food are actually completely different kinds of food from what you're gonna try in here. Because in here, that I mean, in the southern part of China, the food always tastes a little bit of sweet. It could be lack of flavor because we don't really put so many salt uh, and peppers in it. I think. But in the north, seem to be a little bit different. Food can be can be salty, and of course, it's not like I'm not taking this as a general part. I just talk from my experience. Can be salty, and the flavor is a more like a more stronger feelings. If you like, strong flavors, then you should try up north. Uh, so me personally, I don't really know how to cook. I mean, I can cook. Uh, I can fry eggs, but my parents they know how to cook. So when I was at home, they usually cook for me. I'm living alone in here, so I don't really cook. Mostly I just eat outside. My parents they know how to cook. They try. Especially my father, she try different kind of things. So uh, I remember in the weekend, we like family union days. We all sit on the same table, and my father was cooking. They do all this kind of stuff. You know, Give me fellas. I'm a little bit tired now, but that's how the drive goes. Um, I mean, I've traveled in the country to many places. Every places have different kind of flavor. Even though the same recipe or same food, each and every place have different way to to really cook them and bring them out. So I think it should be a very uh, unusual experience you will have if you travel to this place and try different kind of food. Officially, I think the biggest differences between Chinese food and Western food basically was more like Western food, they just all right, just give me a minute, just get my sauce together. Wait a minute. All right. Just even though I couldn't cook it, I know that there's different kind of way to just deal with the same raw food you can have. I mean, if you have got fish or some meat or something, to me, I can instantly tell you at least five different ways to deal with it to make different kind of food. But but ironically, I can't really cook. I can't really deal with those things. So I think the differences. I think the differences between Chinese food and Western food. It was like Chinese food were all in together on the table, and everyone can uh, because of the plates are all placed on the table, so everyone can have different taste of every food that put on the table. But in the Western world, I guess most of them have their own plate. Have plate of steak or spaghetti, things like that, and some cakes. I don't know. So I think that's but it feels very different because we don't have this giant pair of sticks. We will never put them on the table. We cut them to little pieces and mix up with vegetables. That's what we do. Um, we have in each of our places we have different kind of food, and so there back like maybe 200 years ago, there's this cook in Beijing. He gathered, you know, basically all different kind of food from all different languages and cultures. They build up with, and they put them together. It took him a very long table. It's like nearly a mile to put all this kind of food on the table. So they give it a very epic name. It's called um, I don't really know how to say the name in English. I don't even know. I don't really sure. Is that actually English name for it? But oh, it's called Manchu. It's actually very it has a very simple name. But of course, from nowadays you can't really try them or actually cook them because that would take you a lot of time, and it will take a lot of time to cook all of them. It's technically impossible, and we really paying a lot of attention in soups. We use different meat and different vegetables to make soups, and just by the look of it, you can tell this is a very important part of the whole meal, the soup. So, as a matter of fact, we have different food uh, in different vegetables. For example, we have dumplings in we have dumplings during Chinese New Year, or the day before Chinese New Year, the night before Chinese New Year Eve. We all gonna eat dumplings. That means good luck and fortune in China. And uh, you know, Dragon Boat festivals uh, during Dragon Boat festivals with zones. All right, so it's and of course also we can call it dumplings, but just to define them to it has another like more famous name is called zongzi. It's like you put in rice and meat and different kind of things. You just put it all together and gather them with a leaf, and you put them in the pot and steam it, and it will be it will be very then then you can eat it. It's very delicious. Technically, you can buy zones in any season in China in the supermarket, but uh, but you know, in the supermarket, it basically taste all the same, right? But at the beginning of it, we began to eat zones during Dragon Boat festivals. So this can be taken as as a main meal because it was made of rice. And of course, we have mooncakes on Mid-Autumn festivals, which is I think that's pretty famous in the West countries because it's basically a love story behind it. And on that day, we're gonna eat mooncakes. Mooncakes, they have even mooncakes have different kinds. Just to me, I know there's this Guangzhou kind, and what we have in here is Jiangsu kind. They have different kinds. They look different. They taste different. I mean, those are two special different parts. I personally enjoy both of them, but you should try it and you can make a decision yourself. Those just two examples. We still have different kind of food during different Chinese New Year. It's like you guys, in turkeys, doing what was that festival called? You all the Eastern eggs. Oh, Thanksgiving, yeah. And on Christmas you might eat something else, but that's basically the same. Instead, we don't really do Christmas or uh, Thanksgiving. We do Chinese New Year and Mid-Autumn festivals, things like that. So uh, if you came into the country, on these different festivals, you have chance to taste different kind of food. I mean, physically providing in these festivals. And if you are traveling to different parts in China, then you have chance to have different kind of food that's physically was being made in this country. So it's possible as well, but I haven't tried much yet. So uh, what I really know is what we're doing here. So that's oh, hello. I see someone's watching this. Hope I didn't bore you. I'm a little tired. You see, food as a category is a very big kind. There's a lot to talk about. Uh, but I personally am not a cook, so I can't really tell you how this thing can be done like that. But if you come to China, you're going to visit different restaurants. Each and every one of them have their own specialties, but yeah, they're basically the same in the West. So if you see something on the list, I think you should try it. Maybe you'll be surprised. So, but of course, now we're an international country now. You can always have Western food if you prefer. We do steaks and spaghettis all the time, so that actually tastes very good. But since you've been here, I think you should try Chinese food. So um, I think that's basically it. Oh, so snacks in China, or what we're eating in different time in a day is actually different. We usually eat baozi or things like that you know to eat them as breakfast, and sometimes we do a little bit different. But in China, we have there's some traditional snacks that still worth trying as well. Some of them could be, the size of it could be like a decent meal. All right. So uh, a recommendation to you guys: if you want to try like different kind of food in China in one place, then I recommend you to go to Shanghai. Shanghai, there's this big famous palace, this big building. have 5 different floors, and you can and all of this in this buildings, you can try technically all the traditional food in all different places in China. It might be not so so general, but you can see how many kinds they have in there. Of course, if you want to try the real genuine ones, then you should go to local places and try them out. So uh, what I'm talking about in here is there's always different kind of things in the world, right? So is Eurovision now you're having about food, everything. You saw them, you saw them right on the map. You point out a place it has differences, but in China, if you can try all the tastes in China, you basically travel through the world because we have the most glorious food history ever. Maybe so not so special, not so iconic, or you know, no, but we're absolutely epic enough. So that's uh, that's my little opinion about food. If anyone's watching this, uh, I'm welcome you to leave a comment and ask questions if you really like. So, well, no matter how hard I try to say, it is also could be better if you just come and have a taste of it. So this is just about it. So I see you guys next time. Goodbye.